Welcome, everybody, to our webinar today. We're going to start this promptly in one more minute. If you have any questions you want to ask, go ahead and put it in the Q&A section. We'll do our very best to answer them at the end of the webinar. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thank you very much. It's Leticia with Score, and we're having a fabulous webinar with Liz Harsh. Thank you for joining us and have a great day.
Of course. All
Oh,
right.
well, let us know where you're connecting. We're in Irvine. So let us know if you're connecting from Texas or any part of the states. Thanks.
So the nice thing about SCORE that I do want to mention is SCORE is very helpful for business owners that are trying to make the most of their quickly growing business. And it can really expedite you a lot faster by giving you a mentor, someone who has worked in the industry for a long time, or someone who has a lot of experience as a CEO, CFO. And the SCORE mentors that they provide are very knowledgeable. They can help you on strategizing, on financing, maybe helping you with some figuring out where to collectively put some of your businesses or locate. So definitely advise you to utilize those SCORE mentors. There's no charge for them, whereas presenters are usually a for-profit business. The SCORE mentors are absolutely free. They're part of the arm of your SBA, and they're there just to help you grow your business. So think about what it is that you'd like to do this year and start to put some of those strategies together with a SCORE mentor, because you've really got nothing to lose. They're an excellent source of free information. It's really nice to have that benefit to help propel you, since a lot of us business owners are working on our own. So having to make the most with very little feedback. So SCORE can be that arm for your feedback when you want to figure out, oh, how do we get to the next level? How do we grow our business? What should we do? Maybe sometimes you should connect with another business. And again, SCORE can help you get there. So today we're talking about supercharging your sales growth. So we want to talk about strategies that work for small businesses that are trying to expand their sales and get more done. This also works for nonprofits if you're trying to increase your donations and get more people to be aware of the programs that you offer and utilize your programs. Same thing. Some of these strategies, what we're going to be talking about, will work the same for you. So just keep that in mind. Well, let's see what we can do. My company is Tailor Made Advertising in Torrance, California. I'm Liz Harsh, and I'll be teaching the class today. If you want to reach out and talk to me, there's lots of different ways to do so. I'm hoping you're doing the same thing, making it very easy for people, whether you're presenting or you're showing a sign on the outside of your showroom, or maybe you do pop-up stores or something and you have a QR code. Make it really easy for people to be able to identify, connect with your business, and talk to you in whatever way they want to communicate. Because really, the consumer is in charge these days. They have their own preferences when it comes to how they want to talk to you and communicate with you. And so you want to make sure that you're making those vehicles very available for them. Top challenges for small business owners often is finding new customers, not having enough time for follow-up and those sort of things that help you find and retain new customers. But most importantly, retaining existing customers, because every new customer that you get costs you a lot. And once you've invested that money, the smartest thing to do is make sure you're retaining those existing customers so that they can refer people to you, talk to you about talk about your company to their friends and family, and bring in new bodies, new people to your business, and at the same time grow what they're buying from you over time. So maintaining and keeping customers is equally important to finding new customers. In fact, it's more important because statistics show that your past customers are actually funding your organization a lot more than new customers. So that's part of our job, is getting and retaining those customers. So when we look at the hurdles for your next sale or your donation, I want you to think about variables that really make a difference. What stops people from buying your product or service? Or what stops people from buying more of your product or service? What can you overcome do to overcome that hurdle? Like, how can you get an increase in those sales, or how can you get more repeat business? And once you do that, and you connect with that customer, that new customer, are you doing enough in your organization to keep them coming back? What are you doing? What have you dedicated to that goal of getting them to continue to come back and buy more products from you, continue to support your organization, bring their friends and family to your company, so that that will definitely end up supercharging your growth more than anything else you can do. So seeking a new customer is important, but it's more important to make the most of your past customers and reach out to their friends and family. A 5% increase in retention will increase your profit significantly. 52% of customers are likely to switch brands if a company isn't personalizing their communications. That communication can be your text, it could be your website, it could be your email marketing. Whatever you're doing, are you communicating to those folks that you've connected with before, even a lead versus a prospect versus a some type of a past customer? Personalized emails and communication deliver 6 times higher transaction rates. So you want to make sure that you're personalizing those. Sales and fundraising are a race against the clock. Basically, people determining whether they need to get this now. And so looking at what you can do in a timely manner is very important. Consider what's the seasonality of your next sale or donation. So do you have people that are on your past customer database that you notice are only purchasing seasonally from you, or maybe come in once a year or twice a year? And make your marketing goal to get those folks to double that frequency. Identify them and make that a goal. Why should I buy or donate now? What we're learning right now in this economy is a lot of folks are trying to make a decision between this or that. So when they start making those decisions about buying this or that, you want to make sure that you're making a clear case that now's the right time to buy your product or service. And then, does your sales or fundraising staff have access to your leads? In other words, your customer relationship database. And what actions have they taken? So, if you're not keeping apprised of that, if you're not encouraging or creating a system where your staff is adding notations to your relationship management tool, then you're not getting the latest information. You're also not collecting very valuable market research information. So you want to make sure you're doing that so that you can keep your finger on the pulse of your growth. So the way we increase, referral business or word of mouth business is by connecting with those new prospects either online or through an ad that you're doing or through an event or webinar that you've put on, and then providing a wow experience, something that really impresses them to the point where they're encouraged or thinking about your business as a solution to a problem that they have. And then you want to make sure that going beyond that, you're encouraging them and connecting with them, both at your store level or your communications from your email marketing or text marketing, but also driving social visibility of what's going on with your company on a regular basis. So we try to reach people 13 to 26 times in 6 to 8 weeks. And that's not by sending a ton of emails or connections with them. It's by making sure you're using all of these tools as a media mix so that they're exposed to you that 13 to 26 times in 6 to 8 weeks. So over time, the way that you're doing this is coordinating and using these multimedia tools. When you increase that exposure, it connects you with other prospects, particularly when you're using social media tools, because in that case, their friends and family are seeing them connect with you, show products that they've purchased from you, and that sort of thing is bringing you that new word of mouth advertising that we like the most because it's highly recommended. And when something's recommended by a friend, we've overcome that hurdle of trust. So we trust that company. And that's how this connection should work for you. Obviously, it's easier to reach people when you have their contact information. So part of this job is to make sure that you get that first party communication, particularly now that third party communications are much harder to get and connect with when you own the data, when it's something that you've collected through your website, through your online portals, through your organization, then you can take that information and do a heck of a lot more with it. Part of what we're talking about in terms of seeing what those potential customers are interested in, or what your past customers are interested in, questions they're asking, or links that they're clicking on your database marketing or your email marketing. By getting that feedback and abandoned shopping cart information and having that all consolidated within your relationship management tool, you really get to know the patterns, the interests, and the worries that your customers have today. And having your finger on that pulse is extremely valuable. So two goals marketing is trying to achieve is to expand and grow your customer base, but also to increase those engagements with your past customers through those different tools that we're talking about right now. So you're orchestrating this connection to try to achieve those connections on touch points. So you want to first identify the target and how you can best connect with them. Do you have a prospect list and a way to grow it? Of those people that you contacted, the most likely prospect? Prospect being a person who's going to make the next sale you're going to connect with. Is your offer itself compelling enough to get that to happen? Are you seeing that happening? Are you seeing a hesitation of some sort? And are you listening to their questions or concerns? Because sometimes if you invite questions or Q&As or provide some Q&As on your website, you will get feedback that is your next best marketing campaign, which is listening to their questions and wondering, did we really answer that on our website or through our ad campaign? And what could we do to answer that question and make that an ad campaign? Because those questions are probably being asked by a lot of other people who are not yet your customer. So you want to know and grow those contacts by identifying each target market and trying to grow that. So you may have multiple products, for instance, and you might have different types of customers for different categories of products or services. And you want to make sure that you're taking that into consideration. And by having that customer relationship management database, you can update it over time and integrate, different groups or lists in a way where you'd recognize, okay, this is going to really help us deliver this new product that we just developed into the hands of those people that are the most interested in it. Also keeps people reading your communications because what you're sending them is something they're actually interested in. Instead of everybody getting the same stuff, you want to identify and target your growth by identifying which categories and which information is good for them. So that could be anywhere from leads and prospects to customers to users or recipients of your services if you're a nonprofit, to donors or volunteers, again for nonprofit. And don't forget vendors and just fans. Sometimes people that are referring you the most business aren't even customers. There are people that know you, friends, family, that are pushing people your way because they trust you, they know you, and they want your business to grow. So keep that in mind. They should still be in your database, and you should be keeping them apprised of changes that you're making at your company because they might not even know you sell products or services that you've added since the last time they've been to your store or learned more about your business, or you don't talk about that stuff at dinner, right? So it's something that you want to make sure you keep them appraised, put them on your database, and get them at least a monthly update of what's going on at your business. You want to divide those email lists into groups based on information like their interest and their demographics. So what they're interested in. You might have a group of customers that are pretty regular all the time. Your regular customers or donors, and those are your gold bars. Treat them well, always make them the first line of information. Seasonal customers or supporters that you want to move to be not just seasonal, then you might want to have a different type of promotion to encourage them for more frequency. VIPs are those very important people that are sending business to you, and they may or may not be a customer, but again, they should be apprised of information. And newbies, people that have just signed up, let's say on your website, should get a series of information that teaches them about all of the things your business does or services that you offer, and you feed them to them through a drip campaign so that you're not doing that to everybody. Some people already know that, but new customers may have come in for one product or service and may be able to use a lot of other ones that you offer, but they don't know about them because they just came and got information about that one product. So keep that in mind because that's something that you can update them or make it a campaign to update them so that you can see that information. So keep that as part of what you're doing. For an example, if you're somebody's going to be a consultant, then you might want to segment that person as a prospect or someone who's receiving your tips and tricks for that type of consultation, or maybe having a different approach where you're using or separating out the types of service. So maybe a website design list, a social media list, a whatever list, so that you're making sure that whatever information is dripping to them or coming into them is in that interest. If you're a nonprofit, you might want to have a segment between the writers who are recipients of your services versus the volunteers that are participating, and different giving levels that happen. So donor giving levels where you might ask for bigger things from that higher level and smaller things from the people that donate but can't afford a large thing. But sometimes if you don't ask, you could have maybe gotten something from a donor that's of a much higher value by letting them know what you need. So again, making sure the communication is going to the right people. You want to use your contact relationship management system to find hot and warm leads. So best time to do business is when people are excited about getting something and they're motivated. So are you managing that CRM or relationship management system? Are you taking the time to input things that help you segment that group of people? Are you creating separate lists for customers, leads, donors, members, or other categories that you may think of that would identify a certain type of customer or donor or volunteer? These systems are built into your email marketing program, but you may also have purchased one like Salesforce or something that gets you, even more information. The important thing is that you connect the dots so that the information that you're getting on a daily basis when people come in and buy or inquire about a new program gets into that same database, so that if you're trying to send an email out to all those people that showed an interest in program A, they've been identified or targeted as a segment of your database, and you can just send that email or that text out to those folks that are interested in that particular program. So data is everywhere with lots of systems that you may be using. So you may have a point of purchase, like a cash register or a app that you're utilizing, making sure that the data from that app gets into your customer relationship management tool where you've consolidated everything is super critical, because lots of times people aren't remembering to do that. They might make a quick sale here and there and they just don't enter those people in, or don't ask them if they can enter them in and get them at least monthly specials of some sort. And those people are not then going to be somebody that you can do your segmented marketing with. Event registrations, not only for the people that register, but the people that attend, and then the people that don't attend. Because sometimes the people that don't attend need your services even more because they don't even have time to learn about it. So that's a very valuable list, and sending out something that says, hey, I'm sorry you couldn't attend today. Is there something we can do for you to help you achieve your goal? Digital fingerprints like opens, clicks, people that are connecting up with you through social media, likes and shares. You want to make sure that, again, you integrate that contact information with your contact management system, so nothing's left out. Lots of times there's an integration that's already there, where if you're utilizing some type of a program like Shopify, that you can go ahead and connect it up with your email marketing program, and anybody who purchases would then, that data would go into your program. And that's what enables you to do like abandoned cart emails, where it says, hey, you had this in your cart today, would you like to expedite your sale? Here's a little incentive, that sort of thing, that really makes a difference when it comes to closing deals, because you're there at the right time with the right information and you remind them they were doing this, they got busy, but hey, get back to this, let's finish it up. So other integrations are for nonprofits. There's integrations for all kinds of tools that you're probably already using and you just have not connected the dots. So once you capture a lead or a contact, then you are the first party data owner for that. So I'm going to encourage you to have that happen all the time. So is your website and your gatekeeper, so let's say that's the greeter or your receptionist, trained on how to get more contacts, how to add more contacts to your database. Many businesses have not really trained their reception on how to convince a caller to provide information. It could be as simple as saying, "Hey, we have specials regularly. Would you like to be part of our monthly email to share the specials with you when so that you can take advantage of that? Or would you like to be part of our text when we let you know when there's a sale or an event happening? Do you have a sign up on your website, on your blog, on your social media, on your front desk, in your window?" These are things that you could do simply that would increase your sales. Do you collect email addresses? And if so, how do you collect them? Are there better ways or more ways where you could collect them to add them to your monthly specials or whatever you're doing? Pop-up forms are all part of these email marketing programs, and you can use them with an incentive to encourage people to participate. Now, if you're not a company that can give away a free dessert, perhaps you can do a critique, or perhaps you can offer some type of example or a 30-minute consultation or a 15-minute consultation that would give them potential buyers an opportunity to get to know you, at least enough to overcome that hurdle of trust, which is the hurdle that we all have to overcome in order to make a sale. They have to trust you or they're not going to want to invest in you. So where can you ask to expand those lists? Through the events that you do, whether that's a webinar, an in-person, or a virtual. QR codes, like I showed you at the very beginning of this presentation, that allow people to scan it and link to it and get started. Sidewalk signs, if you have any of those outside or you have a physical establishment, having these signs out there with maybe a QR code would make it a lot easier for people to follow you or get your coupons or your monthly specials. Any kind of a sign-in form that you have at an event, a speaking engagement, or whatever. A fishbowl where you're doing a drawing, where if you enter our drawing, you're going to win a 30-minute consultation or something like that, would get people excited and encourage them to provide that first party information. These tools all still work. If you're not using them and you're trying to figure out how to grow, try adding some. 90% of marketers in 2024 said they increased their digital engagement. That has exponentially gone on since 2024 too. If you're not using landing pages when you put your ad campaigns together, I'd like you to consider them because they're another opportunity for people to sign up, to give you that contact information. And those landing pages just incentivize the kind of people you want. So you want to make the landing page kind of unique so that it's encouraging the kind of customer that you think will say yes to your value proposition. In this case, it's business to business and it's business owners that are large enough to utilize Cobra. And they've just created a downloadable document that tells them how to do it. So the only people that would sign up for this is people that are employers to the size that would provide Cobra to their employees. So it qualifies people at the same time that it's providing that free document with information that they need to know. It allows you to collect information. Obviously, the least amount, the better, so that people don't stop along the way and say, "Hey, this is too much to do." But getting a couple pieces of information that would help you qualify them, like a company name, the email's automatic. First name and last name can be not mandatory, as well as the company name. That way, more people will enter it. And after that, you've got that email address, you can have an autoresponder that encourages them to give you more information about what they're doing. So you want to deliver relevant experiences and messaging as part of this. With these systems, and you've set this up, they're automatically then linked to your email follow-up program that can say, "Thanks for joining. Here's the document you asked for. And if you're interested in talking to one of our representatives, here's where you can make a 15-minute appointment." And those calls to action, giving people an opportunity to take an action, is what really pays off. Click segmentation is another way to do this, where if people, are going and getting your monthly newsletter and you've got something where you've qualified things under different categories of sales, like Bikram yoga, Vinyasa yoga, Hatha yoga, different types of yoga, people that click on those buttons are entered into a list, a separate list, that identifies them as a Hatha yoga practicer or a Vinyasa yoga, so that people have an opportunity to sign up or show what they're interested in, and you don't assume they're all interested in that particular type of yoga. Same thing, the way it works is you just set up a link going to a specific page that talks about Vinyasa yoga, and those people that clicked on that button would then be added to a specific list you create for that yoga. And you can then take your email responders and segment some emails specifically for people that have joined that particular list. In this case, the context for a bakery's context for weekly specials that they can just, did they open it? Did they click on something? Is there an action they took that you think is a qualifier for a better lead? And go ahead and drill down on that so that even though you might only send that email to 6 people, you know they're interested in that topic and you know they're going to do that. You also want to reach out and figure out how to reach those prospects in the best way possible. So, where do your prospects spend their time looking for an organization like yours? If you haven't looked at your Google Analytics lately to see where you're getting your customers, and if you haven't asked a few customers about that, I highly encourage you to do so. The market is very competitive now, and lots of new businesses are coming in. And as they come in, you might not even be aware of claims they're making that don't, look like they compare well to you, like they're maybe better or they're offering more services or more specific or better pricing. So if you haven't checked out the competition, I encourage you to do so. Find out who has inquired or been interested in your services lately. Usually you can do that through this contact management system by seeing the latest entries. Have you reached them 13 to 21 times in 6 to 8 weeks? If not, what's your strategy for coming across their mobile phones or coming across their desktop or getting something through their email? How do how many are you doing so that you would be able to achieve that goal? Don't send out a ton of emails. It's not what I'm saying. Don't send out a ton of texts, but send out some so that it collectively adds up. How are you growing that prospect list? So is your prospect list growing? That's one of the questions I ask new customers all the time is, let's see how you did last year, how you're doing this year. What are you projected to do next year? And if we're not seeing those prospect lists growing, then we start looking at, are we getting referral business? And if people aren't referring that business, then we got to go back to why aren't they? Are we listening? Have we gotten feedback that says we're falling short somewhere? And if so, how can we improve our services and let people know we've improved our services? When you're trying to purchase something through doing some type of a custom Google ad campaign, making sure that you've uploaded your customer file to help profile the kinds of people that have said yes to you this year. So I say this year because sometimes people are grabbing data from 6 or 8 years ago, and that may not be the same kind of customer you have today. So this is the information I want you to start looking at is the kind of customers that you have today. Often using your customer database identifies or gives us enough demographic information where you can do that. You also want to tie in some campaigns that are retargeting from people that have visited your website because it's another thing that'll help you reach that number of touch points that I'm talking to you about is if I get a retargeted ad, I saw you on your website, I got an email from you monthly, I maybe got an ad when I was looking something up on Google that's talking about your company. So I'm exposed to your logo, to your offer, to your company or organizations. And I also want you to think very heavily about what you want your contacts to do. So personalizing those messages will get more of that engagement or action. You want to think about frequently asked questions for your content, maybe having a blog on your website or having articles within your blog or your website that people are interested in reading, some type of resource will keep them coming back. And again, they're exposed to your logo and your products and services. Maybe you do some type of a ask an expert in your field and have a special person. Maybe you do a podcast. Maybe you just have something going on through Facebook Live. Maybe you're adding something to your website where people from on a monthly basis can get updated statistical information. Whatever it is that you think your target market is interested in, think about creating a resource that they would rely on and want to see regularly because everybody's different, right? And we're looking at creating, communications that are targeted for specific types of people. So you can go in and you can create dynamic content. And that's where you're sending out the same email, let's say, but it's going to have different offers based on which list the customers are involved or engaged in. So in this case, maybe it's a kids event. And so if you know that some people have kids, then maybe you're going to have strategic information about riding safety, and that will go to those people with kids because adults aren't necessarily going to attend that same class. They might have a different class. Maybe you have a different one for people that have bought a bike over the last 2 years and they're in your database of potential maintenance. And so they're all getting the same email, but different offers are being dropped into the bottom based on the list or the segment that you decided to do that to. And this saves you a lot of time because you're just creating one email connection. So you also want to support your sales team. When it comes to failure of sales, sometimes it's really just communication internally. So you want to supply everybody with the information about what's going on with your vendors and what if you're slowing down on getting products in, maybe tell them, okay, we've got this coming in on Wednesday. Anybody that comes in and inquires, let them know we can ship it to them on Wednesday or they can come pick it up on Wednesday and we'll hold it for them. Give them services when you can't offer them what they want. Give them something that shows them that you're trying. So, do you have team meetings and brainstorm any ideas and feedback? Because the people on the front line of your business usually can provide a lot of great ideas on how to market it smarter. Do you incentivize great sales or great fundraising? So those people that are getting the best results at your sales team, you want to make sure you're stroking them, letting them know that they're doing a great job, and maybe encouraging them to share their successes with their peers by having a benefit from that. So definitely pay a benefit to those people that are really working hard at your organization to grow you. Does your sales team update your content management system? If not, then you're probably not getting updated information, and it makes it harder for you to segment these communications as well. So, encouraging them and training them on your system allows you to get more information about your customers and having your customers' communications going across being much more targeted for them so that they're happy. Also, adding social selling. So, social selling is when you're utilizing social media to connect with new prospects and also to maybe do sales completely. And big companies do it, small companies do it. In this case, it's the Denver Broncos. And they basically have created a chat bot. So it's working 24/7 for them, asking if people are interested in getting, more information. Would you appreciate a daily digest of Denver Bronco news? Yes or no? If I don't want it daily, I say no. If you say no, then they might push you towards, okay, well, if you don't find what you need here, if you don't want to get it daily, what about monthly? And they can click on that option. So they're giving them a choice. Same thing with using those chat bots to move people in another direction. So if you don't find what you're looking for here on our social media, go here, and there could be links to your website, specific links that give them the best overview. Do you answer questions on social media? So if you are utilizing social media as part of your marketing tool, you might want to make sure that you're monitoring that and answering questions on it so that people feel like, oh, they do care, because if they ask questions and it goes unanswered for a long period of time, it seems like you're not listening. Do you have a chat bot or FAQ that's listed on your social media? Because that makes 24-hour questions Q&As. Like if you have a Q&A section, you could be pointing to that when people have a question and they'd be pointed to your website with all the frequently asked questions answered. Do you advertise on social media and provide a link to your shopping cart or a sign up form? So social media also has a way of contact us. If you're not great on the phones, maybe it goes straight to your contact us form on your website so people can get their questions answered faster. And it's just a one-click solution. When you design a chatbot, you want to do it to encourage Q&As and signups. Again, it can be your route to get more people to sign up for your monthly news. But, checking out whether or not it works for you, you want to make sure it's a secure creation. You want to make it likable, so using a good communication and very respectful. And then the vernacular is what your target market is. So talk in the way that your target market likes to be spoken to. If that's humorous, make it humorous. If it's serious, make it serious or professional. Make sure that you've picked the right language and the right way to talk to people. And, just thinking about how you keep that data secure and also if you, depending on how you're making it more likable, remember that it's personifying your company. So make sure that the voice of it is the same as your brand. And there are lots of tools that you can utilize to make those. They work 24/7. They can identify leads at the right time and forward those to you, as well as forwarding the information, people to the right information on your website. They can increase engagement with answers on demand using your frequently asked questions that are already posted on your website. So again, pointing you back there. They can collect data that you can use to identify a lead or a donor and provide them with automated replies. So you can tie them in with your drip marketing campaigns so that once somebody is engaged with your chat bot, they're going to receive an update in email format or text, depending on what they prefer, so that it updates them with information about you. Most importantly, you want to make sure that every message counts. And again, we're connecting those dots so that they see us frequently enough to remember who our company is and what we do and be reminded so that they can think about what they might need next. So landing pages, Google My Business, which is the page you can claim for your business on Google. The reason I want you to do that for sure is that Google owns the search marketplace. So by having your Google My Business updated, they're more likely to reach that page and serve that page that shows when you're open, when you're closed, and any information as well as a sign up, if you can add that in there. Video, YouTube, it's nice. It's our 24-hour information place that we all go to. So make sure that you're doing it if it's appropriate for your business or organization. Having that 24-hour YouTube station means that in the middle of the night, when they're giving them some time to do research, they can learn more about what they're trying to do with you, and it's your information. So you're going to be leading the pack with those answers. Email, of course, if you're not reaching out with email, then lots of times you're not growing that customer database that you've already got or keeping them apprised of what's going on in your organization. I know you don't have time to do that personally. So make sure you've set up a system that does that automatically. And social media. So again, you don't have to be on all platforms. I don't think you should be. I think you should be on the platforms that your customers are on. So ask them, what platforms do they use? How can you help your customers and clients choose your organizations? So, what's standing between you and a sale or a donation? Are there questions you need to answer using digital platforms? So, if you look at your website or you look at your organization and you go to it as if you were a potential customer, do you see the answers that they would need in order to make a buying decision? Sometimes with our website pages, we're just teasing people with information because we were doing it for search engine optimization, but we don't actually provide the answers people need in order to make a sale. Many times there's not pricing information, for instance, and nobody's going to make a sale until they know how much it costs, right? Or option, like do you have my colors? You do custom colors. If that information's not there, that leaves them to have to make a second attempt to reach you. And it's much easier if you could just say, click here at the bottom of each page, email us with any questions you have. We'll get right back to you. That's a better solution, right? But having those frequently asked questions right there on your landing pages really makes it easier for people to say yes to your value proposition. Are you connecting with your marketing and your sales team to success? So again, since we're trying to reach them so many times, you want to make sure that your marketing team and your sales team are talking to each other. If your sales team is running up against closing deals and that information doesn't get to your marketing people, it could be that your marketing people are selling people on something you don't actually deliver. And your sales team could tell you that, right? They could let you know that, or the marketing team know that. So getting them together, even though they don't always speak the same language, is a brilliant move so that you can get that communication flowing between those two teams and figure out why sales are not going up when you want them to go up, or why they're not going up higher when you want them to go up. Also, adding SMS text messaging to your sales tools and your marketing tools really can increase a lot. Most of us pay more attention to our phones than anything else right now, to the point where you'd literally drive home 45 minutes if you left it behind, So thinking about how can we integrate text marketing into our plan, not irritate people, so not daily, nothing like that, but what messages could we provide that would be timely, relevant, and valuable to them? In this case, when you're presenting, or in this case, when you're playing at a concert, by providing that SMS text sign up number, all they have to do is type in that number and they're signed up to get monthly news or weekly news, whatever it is that it says they're signing up for. When you add that opt-in SMS texting subscription, it gives people another way where they're going to be seeing information about you. And they do like to follow the organizations that they like to use. So determine the most valuable content you can provide monthly that people really want to get on their phones. It has to be short and sweet, but valuable to them. And then create short text links that get customers to where you want them to go. So your website, or maybe a cart page inside of your e-commerce site based on what they signed up for, that would get them again to those answers that they want most. You really can say a lot, and you can also connect them up, like in this case, with a Facebook group. And a Facebook group is another way to make contacts with people. So they're accomplishing a lot just with this sign up text. And you can have the organization that you're buying the SMS text subscription from, in this case, it's Constant Contact. You can have them use or guess at the best messages based on the content that you provide them, so that they're writing these things for you, or you can write them yourselves, and you can even pick the kind of voice you want to use and the information so that you can use it. You can use that AI to develop smarter content. You can also cross-platform promote for all your news and events to maximize your results and expand your reach, because it's tied in with a social media scheduler. So then it can go from here, from your text message, to social media platforms that you've connected up with it, so that you fill something in once and you edit it just for the platform look, and boom, you can schedule that for months in advance and have that all going out automatically. Valuable content will increase loyalty and repeat business. So again, gaining that new customer can be 5 to 25 times more expensive than retaining a past one. 47% of buyers review 3 to 5 pieces of content before engaging with a sales rep. So you want to make sure that you're providing that content. So your blogs, your emails, your outreach, your webinars, these are all things that help them get the information they need to make a sale decision. 84% of consumers are more likely to take that action if they're getting something personalized from you, which is why we're talking about this today. Drip marketing campaigns are funnel marketing plus. So I told you that some of these things would receive a drip marketing campaign. That's basically when you take a lead from an email, a website, or social media, and you offer them an incentive to join your mailing list. They subscribe. If they picked a particular thing, then they get an autoresponder that allows them to take advantage of a coupon. So as soon as they subscribe or sign up for something, they get something from you that says, hey, thanks for joining. Here's the document we promised you. Here's the 30-minute consult that you can sign up for. Here's the coupon that we promised you. And it's automatic. As soon as they sign up, it happens. And that really does build that database or that list that we want you to build. So another thing that you might want to think about is how things are received with those drip campaigns. Valuable content needs to be helpful, solve a problem, sound friendly and approachable. So I always say save them time, save them money, or provide them with something that you've put together that would take them time to do themselves. In this case, videos. Lots of times, if you take the time to put something together, like 10 things every cyclist should know, then those videos are going to be looked at, particularly if those people are serious cyclists, right? So having that available on YouTube is important. Putting it out in your newsletter is important. Referring to it on your blog is important. And then text marketing, hey, we've got a new video for you. That's the way to integrate all these touch points that I'm trying to get you to do. Also, when it comes to value, because we are in a value market, you want to make sure that your emails that you're sending out are visually compelling by using a subscription-based, template-based program that then converts it depending on whatever platform they're opening it up, whether that's mobile or a PC or tablet or something. And then adding those social shares at the bottom so people can share it on their own social medias, web pages. That really all they have to do is click on Facebook and then they can share this whole newsletter on Facebook. So adding that is important. You want to collect data and feedback. So looking at the stats is very important. If you want to improve your results, you got to look at the stats of your previous newsletters. And using video, sometimes not with each email, gets a different response. So even though, as long as you can get those folks to review your video, if you feel like that's your best foot forward, do that. And this is that category where I was showing you where people can add the social share bar that allows people to add, take this newsletter and share it with a click. So what people are doing on all these devices that I just mentioned, is different things. They're consuming stories, they're capturing and consuming videos, they're trying out new social channels, and you should too, if that's where your customers are hanging out. And consumption, so they're looking at solutions like YouTube. So when you have how-to videos, it's a really great way to show people your expertise and also to give people a resource for when they're stuck and they can't figure out what to do next. Even how to shop for a big screen TV could get you a lot of results for buying a big screen TV. When you provide them with your expertise on how to compare one unit against another, and of course the checklist you're going to create will keep your TVs right at the top of that list in terms of who turns out the best out of that. So using these different tools is what I'm talking to you about when I'm saying that 6 to 21 times in, I mean, excuse me, 13 to 21 times within 6 to 8 weeks is you're using a lot of these media mixing to get that accomplished. Also, creating a website or refreshing your website, go look at it now and figure out if you've given me all the things I need to know in order to make a purchase decision. If not, what's the plan? Is there something that I can push, a button I can push, and then get some help, move into something or get a drip campaign? Are you allowing people to sell products and services online? Is there a way where I can actually expedite a sale? Are you using email and social media connections within your website so that people can easily follow you and get or sign up for your newsletter? Or can they go straight to your online store, maybe get a subscription to your whatever you're doing? In this case, Solana Garden created a newsletter basically that they turned out and started actually charging for because it was so popular, because they started providing, hey, this is the season for planting this and that. These are things you might want to do. And they saw that they had such an interest that they ended up utilizing this newsletter not just for free, but people wanted to get more information, started asking questions, and they drilled down and did the research and provided it as a subscription based, and it helped them sell more products too. So they sold it in their online store, they announced it in an email, and it allowed them to grow their business. Repetition and marketing touches, so reviewing what you're doing, reviewing your efforts and success and tracking definitely is important. If you're not looking at your stats or your Google Analytics, you probably don't even know if your website's being used that much any longer. So making sure that you've got that feedback. Do you know your most active followers on your email as well as your social media? If you don't, go look at those stats this week. Take a look at it and see if that's growing or waning. If you see more people engaging in certain products, maybe you should put a promotion out for those types of products. So do your own market research through these databases that you've created in your first party category. Are you responding in a timely manner online? So do people hear back from you when they inquire? Try your forms on your website and make sure they work. Sometimes they are not working any longer, and companies don't figure it out for a very long time. So do your own research on your own. Have somebody that has never bought from you go look at your website and give you some feedback and see if you're missing elements that give them the answers to make a sale right there online, or order or schedule an appointment with somebody to make a sale in your showroom. How often do you reach out to previous customers and ask their opinion or get a survey? So are you reaching out to them to get more sales? Are you also reaching out to them to get feedback and to say, hey, we want more customers like you. Thank you so much for your business. Give me could you provide a little feedback on how we could improve? What services or products you'd like to see next? Because sometimes that's your next best great sale product. 70% of consumers have visited a small business at least once a month, and 60% have made more of an effort to support local organizations. Only 10% feel they need to visit a physical store. So I'm wondering if that's changed, because obviously this is in 2020, it would have changed. But getting people back into the stores or into the in-person has been a challenge for a lot of organizations. There are things you can do. There are events you can create. There are invitations you can send out, private sales, private parties that you could be doing if that's one of your challenges. Make that one of your marketing goals. You want to encourage engagement on mobile through your social media. So definitely making sure that people have the option to opt in, to check in, creating customer content so that they have resources with which to get more information, and making sure that you're also chasing reviews. Because hey, if people are looking at reviews and they're looking for companies that have good reviews, if you're not up there with any reviews, you don't look so good. So make sure you make part of your marketing campaign getting more reviews. Do you track your past customers and their behavior? Do you personalize your thank yous and your promotions? And can your sales team access your customer and data reporting and measure their progress as well? So deciding how you do that, what kind of people have access, what kind of people don't. I understand you want to keep secure, but letting them add notations one way or the other, even if it's just an app that you use, getting that information back into your database will pay in dividends. Looking at the open rate and the click rate of your past emails and communications, as well as your shopping cart statistic, will give you more feedback as well. As you can see, general emails, although they have a decent open rate, double when you make it more targeted, when you're talking about something specific for them. Same with click rate, so the click-through rate is when they take an action within your email and click on something specific. So doubles when you have a more targeted email for them. So thinking about how you could do that, like that abandoned cart email we talked about, where the autoresponders are going to be really effective, just reminding you to complete the order that you got into. And once you've done that, you're looking at a couple of different options to show them different things. So if they were in the process of buying lipstick, maybe you're going to show them some nail polish that would match it or something like that. You can create these through your email marketing program once you've integrated your sales, your e-commerce site to that, so that those autoresponders are automatically sent off if somebody doesn't purchase by the end of the day or the end of the week. Tracking your results and repeating the things that work is the most valuable tool for business owners. So think about it. When you figure out what's working, you just want to magnify it, right? And that's the time to put money into expanding it with paid ads. So are you getting more results when it comes to your business? Are you campaigns moving leads from leads to customers? Because that's what we're always trying to do. We're always trying to move people from being a lead list to a customer list. So once they're a customer list, don't stop there. We want them to be a repeat customer list and a referrer. So two more steps after that. Are your clicks leading to financial or member growth? So is it growing? Is it working? Whatever you're doing, if it's not working, you want to take a good look at that. Reach out to Score or myself and we can help you with that. You want to create segments for better targeting because again, you might have fewer people on that list, but they're targeted people that are interested in, let's say, the people that pick those items out in the abandoned cart would then get something from you that would show that you have multiple lipsticks on sale that they might want to buy. Also looking at those people that are not engaging. So they have a subscribed list, and then the most engaged, which are the 105 people out of the 2,300, are most engaged. That's great. Somewhat engaged, 359, but the least engaged is 998 people off of that list. So what do we want to do to get those 998 people to engage more? What can we do? Try different promotions. Try a new approach. Try throwing something out there based on what those 998 people are interested in. Maybe you'll find a commonality. Maybe they're in a category that you no longer are developing new stuff in, but that doesn't mean they can't buy something else from you. So look at these stats and evaluate them and consider them your market research. Your past customers and donors, you want to solicit that referral from past customers. That's why word of mouth works, is that you want these people to mention you to their friends and family. So, if you use your past customers and do promos towards them, you could power 30% more revenue with that one effort, really. So, do you ask for referrals or suggest your emails are passed along to friends? So, when you send out your monthly newsletter, does it say, hey, please share this with your friends? We want more customers like you? That's all you need to do is give them a forward opportunity. Do you have any events or webinars that are open to their friends and family? Can you have a friend and family day? Can you have a friend and family sale? Something that gives your past customers a benefit of membership, basically, and gives them an opportunity to bring some friends, have some refreshments, or do something special that you're doing at your location. And at the end, do you thank your referrers? I don't believe in paying for referrals, but I do think when people refer you and you know they did, a thank you is appropriate. Some type of thank you gift may be appropriate. Think about it and integrate it into your marketing. Right now, July, August, September, we have the opportunity to grow to to expedite 20 to 40% of your annual sales. I recommend you look at what you did last year in this quarter and set a goal that's higher than that. You got a little time, but you need to start implementing some of these tools we're talking about. There's lots of events coming up in August and September. And so think about which of these events you might be able to tie a promotion in with. Maybe it's a summer sale. Maybe you're gearing up for Labor Day and you want to do something special for that. Think about it now and start putting those campaigns together with a deadline that they know because it's a special day that they recognize. Consider social media posts that are utilizing these themes for August that are tied to something that's relevant today. Again, relevance is everything. If you're thinking about utilizing a tool like Constant Contact, reach out to me to help you with that. There's 30% off for the first 3 months if you're interested in that. Also, make sure that you're taking advantage of getting a mentor through the SCORE organization and that you're letting those mentors know what you want to do in order to grow your business more. Um, my name is Liz Harsh with TaylorMade Advertising. I hope that you enjoyed our webinar. Please reach out to us if you have any questions, as well as SCORE Orange County. Thank you.